G'day guys, good morning. We are heading into NOLA today. Thanks for joining us again. We are actually going to go down to the World War II museum that's here and check that out for us on an adventure. There's a lot to do down in New Orleans, and if you get on YouTube, I'm sure you've seen French Quarter videos and all that sort of stuff. We're going to go and check out some of the other touristy things. Today's the World War II museum. Next time could be the aquarium or the zoo that's down there. Don't know. We'll just see what we've got and see what we can find. So stick around because we're heading into NOLA. Bye.
To prevent Japanese advances. Within days, Japan upsets the strategy. With an insatiable appetite for land and resources, the Japanese continue to sweep across the Pacific and soon threaten Australia and New Zealand. This drive leaves Roosevelt little choice but to direct more of America's meager assets to the Pacific. The war against the Japanese will be conducted across thousands of miles of ocean, a scenario that demands a new naval strategy. The outcome will be determined from above by planes launched from aircraft carriers and from below by Allied submarines strangling Japanese supply lines. But before this strategy can be implemented, the United States suffers a demoralizing string of defeats. The Japanese seized the United States territories of Guam and Wake Island. They also attacked the Philippines, where they overwhelmed American and Filipino troops stationed in Bataan and Corregidor. On April 18, 1942, the United States strikes back. As the sun rises over the Pacific, Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle and his men embark on a daring mission. They will put the new strategy of launching aerial attacks from carriers to the test. 16 Army B-25 bombers lift off from the USS Hornet. Their plan? Fly 500 miles to bomb Japan, then pray that enough fuel remains to reach China.
We were so young and so stupid, and we had no concept of wars. We were bombarded almost every night.
In the summer of 1942, the Japanese are continuing their push across the South Pacific, taking island after island. Their objective is to isolate Australia and New Zealand by attacking supply lines coming from the United States. A pivotal step in the Japanese strategy involves building an airfield on Guadalcanal.
And fear sensing. Your mouth is dry and your heart is racing and you wonder how you're going to perform.
And the bombardments, all the bombardments, never let up. We were bombarded almost every night.
Battleship confrontation, the Americans again prevailed. Just barely. The Americans at last control the seas around Guadalcanal, and reinforcements pour onto the island. A Japanese officer concedes starvation is taking command.
We were so young and so stupid. We had no concept of
After
wars.
6 months of unceasing struggle, the Japanese evacuated their survivors. Japan has lost almost 30,000 men. The Americans at last control the seas around Guadalcanal. And reinforcements
Was a very interesting person.
No amendments that one normally associates with basic living. Malaria, dysentery, and a host of other diseases sap the men's energy and send as many as 80% of the Americans serving in the Southwest Pacific to the hospital. Extreme conditions grow the men's health and morale, threatening to grind the entire Allied offensive to a halt. So in comes the second wave of troops, committed to keeping the men strong and moving forward. They are the Army and Marine Engineers and the Naval Construction Attendants. The second wave of troops, committed to keeping the men strong and moving forward. They are the Army and Marine Engineers and the Naval Construction Attendants, better known as the Seabees. Success in the Pacific depends on their ability to create forward bases in no time and out of nothing. These engineers and construction crews slice through the impossibly tangled jungle with a singular purpose.
Leaving an island that was nothing.
across vast oceans and distant continents to the far ends of the earth. When the Japanese finally isolate China by closing the Burma Road in 1942,
The Americans have no choice but to fly supplies from India across the daunting Himalayas. Known as flying the hump, these flights are a highly dangerous enterprise. Land supply route to China, the Lido Road. The work is grueling, but it gives the Allies a desperately needed alternative for delivering supplies. Despite these courageous efforts, little aid trickles through, but it is just enough to keep China in the war. Other men of the war. Agents from the Office of Strategic Services gather intelligence and rescue downed pilots, while working hand in hand with local guerrilla fighters. The Japanese finally isolate China by closing the Burma Road in 1942. The Americans have no choice but to fly supplies from India across the daunting Himalayas. Known as flying the hump, these flights are a highly dangerous enterprise. Meanwhile, American soldiers, mostly from segregated African American units, begin construction on an overland supply route to China, the Lido Road. The wings from the office gather intelligence and rescue downed pilots, while working hand in hand with local guerrilla fighters. Major General Claire Chennault's Flying Tigers, defending China and Burma, shoot down scores of Japanese planes. The Japanese are in retreat all across the Pacific, yet in southern and eastern Asia, with piece together final offensive. In Burma, the Japanese attempt a last-ditch invasion of India, but are rebuffed by British conquest. Somehow, this Chinese man holds on.
Ordered Japanese forces turned on the population, torturing, raping, and murdering thousands of unarmed civilians.
The Japanese set the city on fire, and all of those refugees were coming out. Some of them were burned because the Japanese had burned houses and set the houses on fire.
The fighting reduces Manila, the pearl of the Orient, to a wasteland.
The fighting takes the heaviest toll on civilians, as hundreds of thousands are trapped by the battle. Japanese propaganda has convinced the Okinawans that American soldiers will commit unspeakable atrocities against them if they surrender. So when the battle appears lost, and the Americans
Glasgow, and Peleliu. These were some of the hardest fought campaigns of the entire Pacific War. It took some time. And you just can't forget it. You don't forget it overnight. This, even at this late date, life. And I wake up at night. And it's great dreams. I'm not dreaming, but visions. What do I want to say? Pictures just don't go away. They're there. They're imprinted in your mind forever. And you just have a hard time getting rid of them. And some things you really don't want to forget. You know, it's funny, but killing another man is something that kind of sticks in your craw for a long time. You just never get over it. And it's not an easy thing to do. I've done it, I know. I've lost lots of sleep over it. I'll take care of me health.
Alrighty, guys, that was the World War II National Museum. First reactions, we just gotten back to the truck after leaving. We were there for 3 hours.
Not enough time.
Nowhere near enough time. We raced through. It's heavy. I would tell you, it's emotionally heavy. Going through there, and we owe that generation a lot. What they had to go through in their lives it was pretty a lot, just
harrowing.
A lot to take in, an absolute lot to take in. So
it's well worth it. If you're in New Orleans, it's well worth going. They do a 2-day pass, which would be the way to go. You just can't see it all properly.
No, you can't see it all in a day, I wouldn't think. It is absolutely fantastic. The way they've done it is amazing for a museum. It's really, really, really top notch.
Very interactive, very cognizant of people who have different abilities and need to hear because they can't see or whatever. It's just really interactive all the way through.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was it was very heavy, emotional.
Yes, you will get a lot of voiceover when I put the video out, which you've gotten to the end of it, so you know that. But just you didn't feel like you should talk as you went through.
Yeah, no. It was very respectful all the way through there. Everybody that was there was very quiet and respectful. Conversations, if any were being had, were very, very low. So yeah, it was very somber but very educational. Yeah.
No screaming kids.
Oh, that was the best part.
No screaming kids. There were kids. There were a lot of children in there, but there was none of them were misbehaving or over the top loud.
That was very respectful.
All right. Hope you enjoyed this week's video. Stay tuned. We'll have another adventure
Soon.
See ya.